Yo, what is going on? This is Unbounded. Welcome again. I'm your host as always. And let me get my boy Isaac. My sincerest apologies for my voice right now.
Yeah, and mine.
Oh my gosh. We just got back in earlier this afternoon from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Did you ever figure out why?
All right, so I did.
All right,
I did.
what's the story?
So evidently I wasn't really watching Dynamite at this time when it was going on. So you remember back when right at the start of when Omega started his heel turn.
You mean when he
Justin Roberts was doing those long drawn out intros.
Yeah.
And then he was like 1 week he was like he's like so many odd miles north of North Carolina.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. Evidently it's kind of like evidently it's like he's like the Michael Jordan of wrestling type thing is what I guess what I was reading up.
Okay. So they did it. So it's like the reason why they put it like that is because, and no, I think I remember that. I think it's because he said Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada is like this far from so many miles away from North Carolina. Yeah.
I'll send you the video later on.
No, I know what you're talking about because I think I remember watching it the first time.
Because I was sitting there so confused, like, why in the world he's not from North Carolina.
He's from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
He's from Winnipeg, you idiot. So we open up the show today and close the show with Winnipeg, you idiots. Winning.
So
big night for Winnipeg and North Carolina.
Huh?
A big night for Winnipeg and North Carolina.
Yeah, I guess so.
But man, I enjoyed the show in person. It was
absolutely.
It was quite the experience, man.
Definitely.
I must say, and it's been confirmed today with the incidents today on the interwebs that AEW fans in person are a lot more cooler than they are on the internet.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know if these are like, maybe it was just North Carolina, but it's just like the atmosphere was just great, even in the face of a pretty scary situation. Everybody pulled together to try to get some help for her. So that was just dope to see the community that just togetherness there. Something you don't see on the interwebs. Especially with the outrage that has been going on today before we even get to our thoughts and everything. So, NXT news, one of the individuals that works for Wrestling Observer was kicked out of the NXT tapings and wanted to play victim, but didn't delete his tweets. So he was kicked out of the tapings for posting spoilers.
That is like the worst thing you can do.
And it wasn't like he was. It's not like he's a one-time offender. He was already told to not post spoilers, so he knew better.
Yeah,
just didn't do better.
Right.
And then wanted to make a whole scene about it and cry about it on the internet just for Mr. Super Promoter wants to come out and say, "We'd love to have you at AEW next week." To make himself look like a good guy.
Yeah, I saw that. That wasn't it.
But you know that again, these internet guys are going to pop for this because it's Tony Khan making himself look like a good guy when this guy is not a victim. He just suffering the consequences of his own idiocy.
I feel like he did a case of. I feel like Tony had a case of what Dan Le Batard likes to call reading the internet wrong. I think that's what Tony Khan did there.
Tony Khan really was trying to be Captain Save-A-Ho.
Yeah.
And he's just saved the wrong hoe.
Yep.
And so that's basically what that was. So I don't feel sorry for Mr. JJ and everybody complaining about, but he wasn't the only one. I don't want to hear that, but I wasn't the only one talking in class story. I deal with that. I've already had to deal. I deal with that when I'm at work. I don't want to deal with it from a bunch of adults or man children.
No, you don't.
And the second thing that really caused a lot of outrage. So today was the day that we got WWE's earnings call
Right.
for the second quarter.
Right. Oh, I think I know where you're going with this. Is this the one where Vince literally said over the call that he sees AEW like he saw WCW back in the day?
Yes, this is exactly where we're going with this. So he said, I will pull up the quotes.
Here's my take. Here's my take on this. At this point, like, you might as well, like, we need to just stop. We're not going to, but they're not going to. But at this point, y'all need to say, all right, he doesn't see us as threat. AEW fans, like, again, caveating this by saying, I know for a fact the fans are not going to, but you need to stop comparing the two, because they're not going to see as much as you want them to see AEW as a threat. They're not going to. It's just not going to happen.
So for context, I'm going to use the entire quote. We're not out here trying to be like the IWC and just taking 4 or 5 words out of it and then trying to make it a quote. I don't consider AEW competition in the way I considered WCW back in the day. Not even anywhere near close to that.
Right.
Now, here's why he's absolutely correct. WCW and WWE, Nitro and Raw, same night. Can you say that about AEW and WWE television right now?
No.
Against their flagship brands, we're not talking NXT.
No.
There you go. There's my proof. There is no direct competition between AEW and WWE.
There was, but I mean,
but that was, again, it wasn't against the flagship brands.
Yeah, again, you're right. That's true. By the way,
there was a competition between AEW and NXT, but I mean, that's like you putting the Browns up against Bowie State, the Cleveland Browns against Bowie State.
I know what you meant, but you mean Boise State, right?
No. I literally said what I said. Bowie State.
Noted.
Yeah, you know, a bit up. I think they're up north, or they're down south. It's a D2 school.
Okay.
Not Boise State. That's D1. I'm talking D2.
Okay. All right, noted. So, by the way, they're starting off with Jay White and Bay versus the Good Brothers.
Sounds good. So, I mean, when you going up against the flagship brands, Raw or SmackDown, you're not going to have this same situation. Now, everybody's saying, well, they're about to bring in CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. Well, TNA brought in Hulk Hogan, Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy. Which one's more notable names?
Say it one more time.
AEW with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, or TNA with Hulk Hogan?
I mean, considering the way one of them,
I'm never gonna name anybody else, just Hulk Hogan.
No, I know, and I know where you're going with this, but considering the fact that one of them almost literally killed the whole brand, the whole company, with some of the stuff he wanted to do, and they managed to survive, but we're not talking about that right now.
But at the time, you're going to say Hogan is a bigger name than when you talk about Hogan, Bischoff, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, just the entire WCW alum
went to TNA and almost,
and then they tried to go head to head against Raw, which was probably one of the most ridiculous things that TNA has probably ever done in their long history of ridiculous things. We're not going to talk about this because we had that conversation on the way home, to the hotel last night.
We did. But short version, Impact. I mean, it's Impact now. Impact.
You can't really kill it.
You can't. If Hulk Hogan couldn't kill it, Vince Russo too, mind you.
Jeff Hardy.
The thing with Jeff Hardy, if they couldn't kill
Dixie.
If all these, there's a plethora of people that came into this company and tried to kill it.
What about John Wilkes Booth?
Other than him.
Well, he probably couldn't kill it either.
No. There are a lot of people tried to come into this company and like literally kill it and put it out of business, and they failed. And I honestly, and I'm not sure how, and I said it in the car, I don't know how it survived, but it's nothing short of the grace of Almighty God. And I don't mean to take that out of context. It
is what it is, though.
I don't mean to take that in vain, but that at this point, it's divine. It's divine how they've been able to hold on this long through all of that stuff. It's nothing but divine.
because you got to remember stuff like this is what helped WCW to be out.
Yes.
On top of other situations, there was quite a bit of things that lined up to the
ignoring the booking, like the book, because the booking itself was crazy.
Oh, I have to say this because I told y'all in the car, and I've said it to other people. And I know you don't care for the show due to a lot of the horrible booking decisions that happens, but regardless what anybody says, today's Monday Night Raw still nowhere near as bad as 2000 Nitro.
Oh no, I agree 100%. Anyway, let's move on.
All right, so, but yeah, Vince was 100% correct what he said there. I'm not going to talk about the petty statement he made because that was quite hilarious and petty at the same time. So
what did he say? I honestly didn't read. I only saw the quote. What you read?
He said something about like evidently we've been throwing alley-oops to AEW with talent. Maybe we're throwing some more, but I felt like that was just a little joke.
I mean,
they have been throwing some alley-oops to AEW with some talent.
Yeah.
Not only AEW, but Impact and Ring of Honor is probably Ring of Honor's already got some. MLW's got EJ.
Literally, yeah.
Who EJ was dominant in his debut. So shout out to my boy EJ.
MLW Battle Riot.
Yeah.
What it was called.
And I mean the independents are gonna get some names too. So don't sleep on the independent scene because
EC3 going there.
EC3 killing it.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to Jobber Tears. They have their show on Saturday. If you are in the New York area, definitely go to that and support that group of people. Amazing individuals. Shout out to the Jobber Tears podcast. They don't have no idea I said that. Shout out to them. All right, AEW.
You want to go through the whole thing, or you want to?
Well, just we're not gonna go through the whole card.
Well, not the whole. You know what I mean, but like.
Just a few before we even get to Dynamite, there was some good moments in the first part of Dark Elevation. The place, and it wasn't even full yet. The place went crazy as soon as Miro came out there.
Oh, absolutely! It went absolutely ballistic. I was standing in line to get a drink.
Oh, you were sitting down with us yet?
Me and a guy were standing in line getting a drink, and then we heard Miro come out because Lee had just won his match, and then we went out there. We heard the crowd going crazy. It's like, what are they going crazy for? Oh, Miro, and we're like, oh well, we got to see Miro. Hopped out of line. Luckily, the guy behind us saved our spots. Hopped out of line, went to see Miro, hear what he had to say, hear him threaten Lee Johnson. And then we hop back in line. So yeah. Miro, it's safe to say Miro's over.
Miro is going to be over anyway because Miro has been over
since Rusev.
Frankly, no. I mean, even before Rusev Day. I mean, Miro's had his moments where he's been over for a while.
I mean, I've been a
fan of Miro for a while too.
He personally popped me when he came up with Rusev Day.
Did I tell you about the story of how I started the Rusev Day chant at that Halloween show?
You did, yes.
I started in the form of the New Day Rock chant because he was going against one of the New Day.
The Pistons select Cade Cunningham first overall to the surprise of absolutely
nobody. Also making his appearance, and you'll see this on Monday. David Crockett will be on commentary for
Dark Elevation. Was a surprise. That was a surprise. And then,
that was
a lot of surprises in the show. Like the AEW. Say what you want about AEW. They have a way to literally surprise you to where you don't expect something to happen. You know,
it's a stronghold.
Like for real.
With the dirt sheets.
It was a lot. You know, one of these surprises we'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, Dark, seeing Miro was really good. It's very good.
Yeah.
And then show started. Great intro. Like, for Hangman Page.
Great Dark Order Hangman Page intro, to be specific.
So much so that the crowd. Didn't you say we rewatched it when we got back to the hotel?
The YouTube video, you hear how the crowd is chanting, and they had to turn us down.
Yes, the crowd is so loud, chanting cowboy shit for Hangman Page, that if you were watching it on TV, you'll hear the crowd fade out in the background, so you can hear the promo the guy was cutting the voiceover was going. That's how loud it was. Oh, and nobody was sitting down, mind you. So great entrance. Great entrance.
Then there was the Elite Squad.
Then there was these nerds came out there and they were nerds.
I know we ain't calling somebody that was calling people nerds in the other company nerds.
Hey,
and then they turn around and go to another company to be nerds.
Hey, they're nerds, man.
And I didn't even think about it till you said it. I was like, wait, they were literally on WWE years ago calling people nerds.
They came dressed as the Toon Squad. Well, the Elite Squad. But they had the basketball entrance. They had y'all ready for this and everything.
Just know, if we were home doing the podcast like we usually do on Wednesdays, I probably would have had another moment.
Yeah.
It was just bad. All kinds of bad. I saw people that liked it.
I didn't notice this until later, but did you see what Don was wearing?
I didn't notice it until he walked down, because I didn't see him during the entrance because we were just so puzzled what was going on. And then as the match ends, we see this dude coming down in 5-inch inseam shorts that were probably size small for a guy that wears a medium.
That, and then also he looked to be wearing dress shoes, like these red and black dress shoes, like the red and black church shoes that deacons wear. He looked to be wearing those out there. It was not a good look. No. Not a good look. And unfortunately,
you should never ever wear that again.
No. Unfortunately, they did not get the win as great as the match was. The match was great. You can't deny that.
I watched it again. I watched it again, and and maybe this is my issue because I watched it again. I did notice some more issues. And did you see the quote I put in the group?
I didn't. What was it?
So it was quite a bit of times during the match where the match broke down and Mr. Three Blind Mice lost control of the match, which is not a surprise to nobody. So Excalibur says Rick Knox has lost control.
Yeah,
and then JR was like, well, that's a revelation.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we all know that JR is going to give his remarks. And I think a lot of times JR is quite annoyed with some of the stuff that happens because there was a lot of these moments.
I know he was annoyed with that Stu Grayson
spot. It was a lot of those moments and those. There was at least 3 in that one match where they did the gathering together like Coil. The first one was
Stu Grayson.
No, it was a superplex.
Oh yeah, but they caught him.
Heyman.
You know, it was Alex Reynolds.
But it was still a stupid. It was still a stupid spot.
Yeah, true.
Because it was like they had to stand right there and look up. Are they coming yet? Are they coming yet? Then the second time it was Stu Grayson, where we thought watching on TV, you thought he probably was concussed.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he was able to do the little spot where they counted him out. Blah blah blah. But the fact that everybody's standing right there, and I didn't notice it in the stands, but on TV, it was worse because nobody caught him, but everyone fell down. It was like Jeff Hardy versus Jinder Mahal at I want to say it was one of the Saudi shows where Jeff Hardy went for the Whisperer win, missed him, and Jinder still took a bump.
Yeah. Okay, so it wasn't all that great.
And then, so that was real. I think that was probably one of the worst spots of the night. Okay, but then they had the spot with Hangman, who did he did something. No, he did the moonsault, which I have to give credit to Hangman. He lays it in.
Yeah. And then I didn't like that whatever they were trying to do, the Meltzer driver on the outside.
Oh, my fault. That was the worst spot.
Yeah. It made him look like, here's the thing. I was both because I'm like, all right, they're doing this to be pricks, but at the same time, you're doing too much. You know? I get they were doing it to be pricks, but at the same time, I was like, y'all are doing way too much now.
In fact, he missed.
And that made it better. That kind of wiped the slate clean for me. It was like, you know what, the fact that you missed,
I would have been at least. Oh, I was like, I mean, it was still stupid, but at least you made you made the dunk. The fact he missed it just was like, bruh, why? But the excitement about everything else around it, just the entire excitement,
the stakes, the entrances, everything about it was
the hype around the crowd, and I guess it did kind of lead to a little bit of a slope because it was a very long match. Started to drag a little bit towards the end.
Yeah.
And you could tell that the crowd, especially following the match, you could tell the crowd was.
Well, you could definitely feel the deflation because, especially with the finish, and then just
definitely it was over 30 minutes of just straight. And like I said before, we already had an hour of content prior to that where there were pops too. So,
yeah, the deflation was there.
Yeah,
the deflation was there. Good match though.
Also, one more other thing that I noticed, and I noticed this, and this is a TV issue. Sometimes the timing of things is not where it needs to be at when it comes to TV, because they kind of cut right in. Like you saw as soon as you came in, you saw Johnny kicking one of the Bucks. So you didn't even see the run into the kick. You just, as soon as you boom,
yeah.
I was like, what happened there? So that's why I was like, yeah, there's some TV timing issues here.
I will say this, like going to a live wrestling show, especially one that's nationally televised, is like way better because you get to see everything. That's why I appreciate it. That's why I appreciate it.
Everything. We'll talk about another situation that was going on. Commercials.
Then you had Archer. Quite a few surprises in there.
No, before that, but let's talk. Let me make the statement. Yes, we could not hear him.
No,
we literally could not hear him.
We could not hear anybody say anything.
The audio. I appreciate the fact that AEW's pyro is nowhere near as loud as WWE's. Thank you, AEW, for that.
Yes.
But please get the audio correct, please.
Yes.
Because I was watching it and you heard it came through perfectly clear on TV with Starks.
Audio? Oh yeah.
Yeah, everything was perfectly clear on TV, but you're sitting there.
Even for Justin?
Justin's mic was fine. Everybody's mics were fine except for his, because Taz came in for clear. I heard Taz loud and clear.
That's
but
either.
As soon as Stark started talking,
it's either like I'm not sure because like
I think it was just Stark's mic.
That and then the crowd the crowd was definitely kind of over it. You know what I mean? So I mean, because there were a few times
our section we were just jealous
because there were a few times where I wanted to be like, "Hey, yo, shut up! I'm trying to hear." You know what I mean? But one person can't control like 100 people around them. So
right, and like I said, it was packed in there. I don't think we had 100 seats empty.
Nah, absolutely not.
7,000. We're gonna have the biggest crowd until the special announce show happens.
Or in
Chicago, which a lot of people are expecting.
Or as Danhausen calls him, Pepsi Man.
Pepsi Man.
That's what Danhausen.
I told the people beside me, I was like, y'all be so mad to see CM Punk don't show up. But
so there's that,
and the way they're having it, he better show up.
Yeah, and then you saw first surprise you had was we actually saw Sting.
That was dope.
Yeah, no Snow, but still Sting. And Darby. We got to see Darby wrestle.
Yeah, that was
wrestle. We got to see Darby wrestle that trademark babyface style that he wrestles.
Against Derek Bronson.
Yes,
which will be on which you will see on Monday.
Yeah, that will be on Elevation. Yeah.
Second surprise was Kota Ibushi, not Kota Ibushi, but Tanahashi.
Shit, I would wait. Hold on. I almost called you a racist right there because I guess they're the same people now, huh?
No, my fault. I don't know why.
I wanted to do that.
Why was I thinking about Kota?
I wanted to do that, but I'm tired.
But Tanahashi,
Hiroshi Tanahashi.
I meant to text Donovan.
Yeah.
Because of it.
Yeah. Hiroshi
I would have
Tanahashi.
texted him if he showed up in person. I would have been on Donovan's head.
I probably would have died right there in the stands if he actually came out there. By the way.
Oh, you thought Hangman got a pop? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Me and what's that dude in front of us? What was that dude's name in front of us?
He actually tagged me in his post on Instagram today.
I think it was Matt, right? Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Matt.
Yeah, shout out to Matt for being like
one of the dopest fans out there, man. Yeah. Shout out to him.
Yeah, me and him had the same collective reaction when we saw Hiroshi Tanahashi. Shut up, the ace is speaking. Everybody shut up, the ace is speaking. Right. Seriously. I'm pretty sure if he actually came out there, both of us probably would have died.
The whole crowd would have died, bro.
Not really, because I'm pretty sure half that.
Everybody except for the kids.
If I had to bet, if you took a poll of half the audience there and asked them who Hiroshi Tanahashi is, I'd say half of them wouldn't know.
I'll give you 75%. AEW crowd is pretty familiar with New Japan.
That's fair. But
I mean, look who's in. Look who's running. Look who are in the executive offices of AEW.
That's true. You're right.
I would say 75%.
75%. Fair enough. Yeah. That's fair. You said would know or would?
Would.
Yeah, 75%. Yes. That's but yeah, that was definitely a surprise.
Prayers up to Cash, bro.
Yeah.
That I don't think people realize how scary that moment was. Like, I don't think anybody was paying attention to the match as soon as Cash went down.
Yeah, especially because we saw him move on our side, move briskly along our side towards the medical and take a knee. We were like, oh.
I thought he had like sprained or done something horrible to his arm until we saw them starting to clean the canvas, because they had no intentions of having to clean the canvas again because they already had a second one there due to what happened later.
Yeah. But I will say something about that match. Very clean, very well done, very good Southern wrestling tag. They got to run it back.
They got to, though.
They got to run
it back because I know there's more in store for what these two teams could do.
Yeah, definitely. There's that. You got King Haku.
Yeah, Haku was that. Haku got a pop. Thunder Rosa looked great. I was hyped to see Thunder Rosa.
Thunder Rosa got a pop. Moxley got a pop in Dark. But then again, I mean, it's Jon Moxley.
Jon Moxley.
Oh, Eddie Kingston got a pop before Elevation.
Yeah, he was on commentary for Elevation again this week.
Yeah, that's where I lost my voice. After I saw Eddie Kingston, my voice was gone.
Yeah,
it was gone. Orange Cassidy, Chris Statlander got a pop. Yeah, it was a really, really good night.
So, deathmatch.
Yeah.
I'm not a deathmatch guy. I actually watched about half of the match.
Yeah.
Anything that involved pizza cutters, and we'll talk about pizza in a second, or shards of glass being thrust into a forehead, I was in my phone. Everything else I watched. I watched the glass spot because I've seen glass spots. It doesn't really make me cringe the way the other spots did. I mean, I watched we were talking about it on the way to the show.
I don't mean to cut you off, but breaking news. Lakers and according to Woj, Lakers and Wizards have agreed on trade that will send Russell Westbrook to Los Angeles.
No ring for us next year. Woo! Russell Wilson's a cancer.
Westbrook.
We're not getting a ring this year, y'all. There you go. There you have it. No 18 rings for us.
Wait, how many?
We have 17 right now. We're tied with the Celtics.
Hang on. Give me like 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
All right. But yeah, I was in my phone.
I was gonna say tell them about the rest of the show, but I'll be right back.
Yeah. So I mean, shout out to Jericho. He definitely went in there and did something that a lot of people didn't expect him to do. I understand that a lot of people don't care for the style of wrestling, and I am in that demographic of people who don't care for deathmatch wrestling. Uh, it was just a bit much for me, which is cool. I'm not gonna bash anybody that enjoyed it. I'm not gonna I don't. Wrestling's an art form, bro, and whether you like something or not, I think that's the biggest issue I have with this community, because people want to dog somebody because they don't like what they like. Like, there are people who legitimately enjoy Raw, as crazy as it sounds. I don't think Raw is going to have 7, 8, 9,000 people showing up to a show just to sit there and bore themselves for 3 hours. That just doesn't make sense, to spend your hard-earned money for a show that you absolutely hate. So for Raw to be getting 7, 8, 9,000 people to show up for a show, sit for 3 hours for a show that they absolutely despise, just doesn't make sense.
All right, what's going on?
I was talking about how, like, it's okay to like something that somebody else doesn't like, and it's okay to just disagree on it, because, like, I was saying how, as crazy as it sounds, people enjoy watching Raw. I don't see how else can you explain somebody spending their hard-earned money to go to a show, and it's like 7, 8, 9,000 people at the show to sit for a show for 3 hours that they hate.
I mean, that's why I don't go to Raw. So
I mean, but you're not that person that's going to spend your hard-earned money to go to Raw, though.
Right.
But again, Raw has been doing. I think I saw one show where Raw had over 10,000.
Like in attendance, or
that have already bought a ticket for the show. Because I've been doing a lot of reading wrestle tickets just to gauge how everybody's doing. Everybody's doing well. Here it is. Monday in Rosemont, they have sold 11,829 tickets out of 12,000. Is this the same arena that AEW is going to be in for All Out?
Which one?
Rosemont and what is this? Allstate.
Yeah.
So this is All Out sold out.
Wait, yeah.
This is just a regular Raw that's doing pretty much the same thing. So, I mean, again, almost 12,000 people are going to be at the show to sit for 3 hours for a show they hate. That makes no sense to me. So it's like I said, it's okay to like what you like. If you like 2000 WCW Nitro, that is perfectly fine. I know I said it was worse than Raw right now, which I truly agree with, and that's okay. If you like 2000 Nitro, that's your prerogative. What were your thoughts on the death match?
I liked it. A lot of people were like, "Oh, it was too much." Like, well, like
evidently it wasn't. It wasn't.
Somebody said Nick Gage was watered down. Like, it was watered down Nick Gage. Huh?
I saw a lot of that.
Yeah, I'm like, but first of all, it's on national television. The FCC is watching.
And Domino's is saying it was too much themselves.
Yeah, so I mean,
which Domino's is contemplating taking off their advertisements for the show.
Like that the match was not. I've seen better death matches. Like Drew Parker and Jimmy Lloyd had a banger this past weekend at GCW Homecoming. That was better. Cologne and Drew Parker just really has great death matches. He had a good one. Parker and Cologne had one over this week. Drew Parker just had 2 great death matches over the weekend. All right. Matter of fact, speaking of Drew Parker, he is currently the GCW ultraviolet champion, and the Big Japan Deathmatch Wrestling heavyweight champion.
That's too much deathmatch for me.
I mean, but he's got 2 belts to show for it. He's drew 2 belts. I mean, you don't have to like deathmatch wrestling, but if you
how many death matches can you watch at a time, Isaac?
I watched this past weekend alone. I watched like 4.
Jesus,
like 4 in this past weekend because it was like 2 because you had
sick.
No, well, actually, there was also that tag team death match with Mance Warner and Matt Justice.
How many was this all on GCW Homecoming?
This is all throughout the GCW Homecoming weekend. So it was like 5. Jeez. Yeah, it was like 5. I don't technically count that match Joey Janela was in as a death match because they didn't call it a death match, but he went at it. Janela went at it. Well, no, he didn't. Jimmy Lloyd, Drew Parker went at it. Alex Colon and Drew Parker went at it. Nick Gage and Cardona went at it. There was a tag match with Mance Warner and Matt Justice versus Jimmy Lloyd, and I can't remember the other guy. That was a death match. That was a tag team death match. Yeah, so that's 4 right there. I already said Parker and Lloyd. So yeah, there's 4. It was a lot.
Yeah. But
so to answer your question, yeah, it was 4.
Speaking of a lot, it was a lot of wrestling to try to keep up with yesterday.
Yeah, it was a lot.
On top of Dark, Elevation, and Main 8 Dynamite, we sat through another hour and a half of wrestling, and we were drained.
Here's the thing. Now, I don't want you all to get it twisted. The wrestling wasn't bad, okay?
No, it wasn't.
The wrestling, considering that these are the dark shows where normally there's some silly stuff on there, whatever. But considering the fact that there was considering the fact that this is a show where you have a lot of green talent on there that doesn't get on Dynamite a lot, and you got a lot of green outsiders or regulars, dark regulars, you know what I mean? Considering you have a lot of them, they were probably doing some pretty tight-knit matches, you know what I mean? That one in particular with Tay Conti, that one Tay Conti had, that was pretty
That was solid.
That was pretty tight, you know what I mean? They were giving it to her. And considering the fact that, obviously the one person, how it's obviously going to go, but she was like, yeah, I know how this is going to go, but I'm going to give you some stuff. And they did. So
it was just a lot to keep up with, and then everybody's tired. But all in all, I enjoyed it, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the next AEW show now.
I will say this. Shout out to Chris Jericho. And I know this is going to sound cliche, but I didn't think Chris Jericho had that in him, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I really didn't. I've seen him in street fights. I saw him I saw him that one unsanctioned match he had with Sean, but it was nothing like that. I honestly thought it was his veteran instinct kicked in of 30 years of wrestling experience where he was like, okay, I got a guy.
Tight matches, I guess this is the thing, because you're not going to get these tight. You're not going to get this. They're not going to go this far in WWE because let's be real. If WWE pulls something like that, they'd probably be in hot water.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm saying with him, it was you got to admire Jericho's veteran status because he saw all right, you got a guy who's iconic in this deathmatch scene, in Nick Gage. And so he did his best to make sure, all right, I got to put this guy over. And first of all, he was already over. Nick Gage was over before he even set foot in that ring. You know what I mean? He was already over. And then just him being in there with Jericho didn't enhance him any further. When he returns to GCW, the next GCW show that he's at, you thought he was a hero now. You thought he was untouchable now. When he gets back to GCW, he is going to be platinum. There's nothing that you're going to be able to say to knock in GCW to knock him off the perch. He is their folk hero. He is their Jon Moxley in GCW. He is their hard-nosed, no-nonsense babyface that will fight anybody. And however it goes, but he's going to fight you, and he's going to give it everything he's got. And you got to admire him for that. And like I said, with Jericho realizing that kind of status he has, like Jericho not big, like I love how Jericho didn't big time him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because if you put anybody else in that position, like if you put like JBL in that position, you know, somebody who's not a fan of deathmatch stuff, of Nick Gage, but they say, all right, I'll work with him, they're probably going to big time him. You know what I mean? Jericho did not big time this guy, you know, because I'm some 30-year vet or whatever. Like, no, he didn't do that. Jericho took every amount of punishment he had to take from him to get the match going. And he did. He took everything from him. You know, so yeah. Big props to Jericho for that. Big props. Yep. Good show, though. Great show.
Yeah. So,
I was thinking about that, too. I love how quiet the pyro was. I love how quiet it was. So,
well, that's all we got for this week, man.
Yeah.
We need to get some rest. So,
yeah, what time is it? I gotta go see if I can. Yeah, I gotta go see if I can actually get some decent hours of sleep.
So y'all stay easy out here, and we'll see y'all. We'll see y'all next Wednesday.
All right.
All right. I'm out.